What if I told you there's a movie where Zatoichi faces off against Lone Wolf Ogami Ito of the Lone Wolf and Cub movies? The Blind Swordsman versus the Wandering Assassin, two of Japan's greatest warriors, their destinies intertwined by steel and tragedy. Sounds like a dream crossover, right? But it's not as far-fetched as it seems. After all, the Zatoichi series has always embraced legendary encounters. We've seen the Blind Swordsman share the screen with Toshiro Mifune's Yojimbo in Zatoichi Meets Yojimbo 1970, and even duel with Jimmy Wang Yu's One-Armed Swordsman in Zatoichi and the One-Armed Swordsman 1971. So a meeting between Zatoichi and Lone Wolf, the fatherly assassin of Lone Wolf and Cub, feels almost inevitable. And in a sense, it already happened. It just hides beneath another name. The Tale of Zatoichi Continues, 1962. In this second entry of the long-running saga, Zatoichi's rival is played by Tomisaburo Wakayama, the same actor who would later become world-famous as Ogami Ito, the stoic, unstoppable samurai of Lone Wolf and Cub. And here's the remarkable twist. Wakayama was the real-life older brother of Shintaro Katsu, the man who embodied Zatoichi for over 2 decades. So what unfolds in this film is more than a simple sword fight. It's a duel between brothers, on screen and in reality, carried by real emotion, personal tension, and a lifetime of shared history. The story begins shortly after the events of the first Zatoichi film. The blind masseur and swordsman travels through the province of Suruga only to be drawn into a new storm of political deceit and vengeance. A lord's corrupt retainers scheme behind the scenes, assassins lurk in the shadows, and through it all, Zatoichi walks the line between humility and danger. His first encounter with Wakayama's character, Yoshirō, is quiet but charged. Two men who instantly recognize the other's strength. Yoshirō carries himself with calm precision, his movements measured, his words heavy with unspoken anger. He wears a faint smile, but his eyes burn with resentment. It's clear that their paths are bound by something deeper than chance. Later, Zatoichi seeks rest at a lonely country inn where he meets Setsu, a kind woman who offers him shelter and a touch of human warmth. For a brief moment, the blind swordsman finds peace, a few hours of ordinary life, sake, and soft conversation. But fate has other plans. That night, Yoshirō arrives at the same inn. The scene that follows is one of the most haunting in the entire series. Two men seated face to face in flickering candlelight, speaking of love, loss, and the ghosts of the past. It's here that the audience learns the truth. Yoshirō is Zatoichi's older brother, long estranged, scarred by both fate and family. We learn of Ochio, a woman who once loved Zatoichi but whose heart eventually turned toward Yoshirō. The brothers' conversation begins politely, almost tenderly, but slowly fills with the weight of memory and regret. Each tells his side of the story. Zatoichi, resigned to loss. Yoshirō, consumed by jealousy. It's a beautifully written sequence, one that peels back the armor of both men, revealing their pain long before the duel begins. But there's something more. Yoshirō bears a physical reminder of his hatred, his left arm crippled, a wound he blames on Zatoichi. But even with only one arm, he is still a dangerous fighter, wielding his sword with deadly precision. He has become a twisted reflection of Zatoichi, a man broken, yet still burning with pride. Long before Jimmy Wang Yu's One-Armed Swordsman captured the world's imagination, Yoshirō embodied that same tragic archetype, the fallen warrior, fighting against fate with half his strength and twice the hatred. When their final confrontation comes, it's not simply hero versus villain. It's family against family, past against present. Before drawing his blade, Yoshirō cruelly tells Zatoichi that Ochio is dead, and that he killed her with his own hands. The revelation shatters Zatoichi's calm exterior. He fights not for justice, but in anguish. The duel itself is swift, merciless, and heartbreakingly beautiful. Two brothers circling in silence, the sound of rain and steel merging in rhythm. Each movement feels personal, each strike carrying the weight of shared blood. When it ends, Yoshirō falls, severely wounded. Later, with his dying breath, he confesses the truth. Ochio still lives. He lied to hurt his brother. She left him, not for Zatoichi, but because she could no longer endure the bitterness that consumed him. It's one of the most devastating moments in the entire series. A warrior's final act of honesty, too late to heal the wound he created. Zatoichi stands over his dying brother, face hidden in shadow, the weight of mercy and regret blending into one. He sheathes his sword and walks away into the darkness, the eternal wanderer carrying another ghost behind him. You might think that would be the end of the story between these two real-life brothers, but fate brought them together once more. 2 years later, in Zatoichi and the Chest of Gold, 1964, Tomisaburo Wakayama returned to the series, this time as Jushirō, a completely new antagonist. Gone is the tragic sibling connection. Jushirō is pure menace, a towering ronin with greed and pride carved into his face. Yet the chemistry between the two actors remains electrifying. This film opens with Zatoichi accused of stealing a village's gold tax payment. To clear his name, he embarks on a journey through ambushes, betrayals, and deadly confrontations. And standing in his path is Jushirō, ruthless, cunning, and physically imposing. His encounters simmer with intensity long before swords are drawn. Jushirō commands the screen, combining brute strength with unexpected grace. He wields not just a sword, but also a whip, cracking through the air like thunder. When their final duel arrives, it's staged in broad daylight, under a vast blue sky, among fields scattered with gold and blood. It's faster, more explosive, less tragic, but equally powerful. Jushirō fights with raw ferocity, combining brute strength and ruthless cunning, starting the fight on horseback, wielding a whip in a vicious display of technique and dominance. Jushirō clearly has the upper hand. All seems lost for our blind swordsman. But Zatoichi, calm and grounded, relies on precision and instinct, turns the fight. Rarely has a fight challenged Zatoichi more and inflicted more wounds on him. The contrast between them couldn't be clearer. The calculating blind swordsman versus the roaring force of a man who refuses to die quietly. Though their characters are different, the chemistry is undeniable. They move with the ease of men who know each other completely. Every step, every strike charged with real emotion. You can feel the undercurrent of sibling rivalry, pride, and deep mutual respect that transcends the story itself. It's rare to see such authenticity in cinema. Two actors bound by family and fate, turning every sword clash into something primal and human. So while the tale of Zatoichi Continues might tease a crossover between Zatoichi and Lone Wolf, what we really get is something far more profound. Two films where two real brothers, one blind, one broken, meet again and again across the silver screen, fighting not just for victory, but for meaning. In their clashes, you can almost glimpse the heart of samurai cinema itself. The eternal dance between light and shadow, pride and mercy, blood and redemption. And that's why long before Lone Wolf and Cub or the One-Armed Swordsman, there was Zatoichi versus Yoshirō. A battle between brothers that transcended fiction and became legend.
Did you like this video? Smash that like button, write a comment, and subscribe for more Asian cinema epics.